Hey friend, can I be real with you? There was a time when I didn't even want to wake up anymore. I was just done. Done pretending, done holding everything together, done fighting battles nobody could see. I was a mom who had lost everything: my peace, my kids, my hope, and I truly believe God had given up on me as well. But that's not where He left me. In this episode, I'm sharing how God met me right in the middle of the mess and how that moment turned into the reason I started this podcast. If you've ever wondered if He could still use you, I think this story is going to hit home.
If you're tired of feeling isolated and emotionally drained and just want peace, confidence, and healing, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Rochelle, wife, mom, and your faith-filled recovery sister. I've walked through addiction and heartbreak, but found strength and stability through a relationship with Jesus. If you're ready for real hope, renewed thoughts, and a life that finally feels balanced, grab your coffee, girl, and let's do this together.
Before I ever found peace, my life was chaos wrapped in a smile. From the outside, I looked fine. I'd smile, say, I'm good, and keep conversations light. But be inside, I was falling apart. Every day felt heavy, like I was carrying something too big for me. I was a single mom trying to hold everything together, and truthfully, I was losing the battle. I was tired, angry, lonely, and so ashamed of the life I was living. That's when alcohol became my comfort. It wasn't about fun, definitely wasn't social. It was survival. I drank to numb the pain, to quiet the noise in my mind and the ache in my heart. At first, it was just a drink here and there to take the edge off. But before long, it became the only way I knew how to cope. It was how I made it through the long nights, the anxiety, the guilt, the shame. I didn't realize it then, but I was trying to fill a hole that only God could fill. And the more I drank, the more lost I became. The more I numbed, the more broken I felt inside. I used to tell myself, I'm fine, I can handle it. But the truth was, I couldn't. I was living a lie, and that lie was killing me slowly. Eventually, that darkness caught up with me. It landed me in and out of psych wards, places I had never imagined I'd end up. I remember one night being in the back of an ambulance, sirens going, lights flashing, completely out of it. I didn't know where I was or what was real anymore. I was terrified and numb at the same time. When I got to the hospital, everything felt cold. The walls, the air, the looks from people passing by. You stop being yourself. You become the patient. After a while, I just stopped talking altogether. I shut down. And that's when they started doing electric shock therapy, ECT treatments. They said it would help, but for me, it only made me feel more disconnected. I'd wake up confused, my mind foggy, wondering how I'd ended up there again. And then came the hallucinations. I can still see them clear as day. Little people walking along the floor like they had their own world down there. And lava, bubbling, moving, like the floor was melting beneath me. It felt so real. I couldn't tell what was real anymore. It's terrifying to live in a world where your mind creates it. To be trapped inside yourself, unable to escape. The smell of disinfectant, the hum of machines, the slam of heavy doors, all of it still sits in my memory. And that sound, when the door locks behind you, it's the sound of your freedom leaving. One night, my roommate ripped the wooden door frame off and tried to hurt herself. I remember screaming for help, shaking, crying, and thinking, God, where are you? Why am I here again? It became a cycle. Get out, try to live, fall apart, go back in. Every time I thought maybe this time I'd finally be okay, but I wasn't. And after so many times, I truly believed God had given up on me, that He was done. But now, looking back, I know He never left me, even in the fear, even in the hallucinations, even in the silence. He was there. I just couldn't see Him yet. And then came the day that broke me completely, the day I lost my kids to adoption. That's not a pain you recover from. It changes you forever. I remember going numb. Everything went quiet. The air felt heavy. There was no sound, no movement, just silence. And that silence felt like it was swallowing me whole. People try to say things like, "You'll see them again," or "It's for the best." But those words don't touch the ache that lives inside a mother's heart. Because how do you explain what it feels like to wake up and realize your babies aren't yours anymore? How do you explain knowing they're out there, growing up, and you're not the one tucking them in at night? That's a pain only a mom can understand. It doesn't go away. You just learn to live around it. Even now still, there are days when it sneaks up on me. A song, a smell, a mother holding her child, and suddenly, wham, I'm right back in that moment. The ache feels brand new all over again. If you're a mom who's lost her kids through adoption, custody, or whatever life threw at you, I see you. I know that ache. I know that silent grief you carry while you're trying to still function. That guilt, that shame, that deep ache no one else sees. For years, I punished myself for it. I replayed every moment, every choice, every what if. I believed I had ruined everything, that I didn't deserve happiness, didn't deserve forgiveness. But God never wasted it. He was still there, writing my story, even when I thought it was over. Losing them broke me, but it also became the place where He started rebuilding me. Not overnight, slowly, gently, piece by piece. When I couldn't hold my kids anymore, I had to trust that God was holding them for me. And that truth doesn't erase the pain, but it helps me breathe again. Sometimes healing starts with just being able to breathe again. There wasn't a big, dramatic, one-time moment when everything changed. It was more quiet. I was sitting on the edge of a bed one night, staring at the wall, feeling completely empty, and I whispered, "God, if you're real, please help me." That was all I had. No fancy words, just a whisper. And something shifted. Small, but real. A piece I couldn't explain. It was enough to remind me that maybe I wasn't too far gone. That whisper became the first step toward surrender. And surrender changed everything. And then came Roy, my husband, the man who's seen every version of me and still stayed. When I was angry, distant, broken, he didn't walk away. He didn't try to fix me. He just loved me through it. And that kind of steady love changed me. It showed me what God's love really looks like. Patient, faithful, and unconditional. Roy's love helped me see that maybe I was still worth something. That maybe, even after everything I'd done, God could still use me. Healing didn't happen fast. It was slow. It was messy. It was hard. But I wasn't doing it alone anymore. God began showing me that nothing in my past was wasted. Not the hospitals, not the drinking, not the pain. He could use it all. And little by little, He did. He took the parts of me that I thought were ruined and used them to reach others who were just as broken as I once was. I still think about my kids every day, but now I see that loss as the place where God began rebuilding me, and the reason I can speak to other women from a place of understanding. As God began putting me back together, I couldn't stop picturing that mom crying in her car, trying to hold it all together while her world is falling apart. That was me, and I realized maybe my story could help another mom realize she's not alone either. People had told me for years, you should write a book, or you should speak, but it never felt right. Then one day, I heard someone talking about podcasting, and it was like God whispered, this is how I want you to reach them. Not through perfection, not through fancy words, but through honesty, through truth, through real conversations like this one. That's how Single Moms in Recovery was born. It's not about having it all together. It's about finding stability and healing through a relationship with Jesus. Because if he could rebuild my life, he can rebuild yours too. If your world feels like it's falling apart right now, please hear me. You are not too far gone. God hasn't forgotten you. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed." That verse carried me through nights I thought I wouldn't make it. And I want it to carry you too. Recovery isn't about willpower. It's about surrender. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about letting God meet you right where you are. If he could meet me in psych wards, in addiction, in heartbreak and loss, he can meet you there too. You are not alone. You are deeply loved. And God's not finished with your story. Thank you for letting me share mine. I'll meet you back here next time, friend. Until then, hold on to hope.
Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, would you take 30 seconds and share it with another single mom who could use a little hope and encouragement today? It might be exactly what she needs. And please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more women find the show. It truly lights me up to know this podcast is helping you grow closer to Jesus. Alright girl, I'll meet you back here next week for another episode. Until then, bye!